Oh, Laura, Laura, I tried to leave you behind me, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run into the movies or a bar, I buy a drink, I speak to the nearest stranger. Anything that can blow your candles out. For nowadays the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles, Laura, and so goodbye. Hey y'all, it is Cheyenne, and we're going to look at Tennessee Williams' play The Glass Menagerie, otherwise known as The Gentleman Color. When I first read this play, it left a pretty deep impression on me of notes of sadness and tenderness. He very much displays the reality of hardships in family life and the reality of some of our human reactions to that. This play is also very largely autobiographical, especially in the emotions that lift up from this page or from this play. Um, Tennessee Williams, his name is actually Thomas Williams III. He was born in 1911 in Mississippi, then moved to Missouri with his rest of his family. His father was a traveling salesman, but also had a drinking issue, and he was very absent in his life. And so his mother very much overcompensated for that absent father figure and became very overprotective of her three children, Tennessee Williams, a brother and a sister named Rose. Rose was a popular girl in high school. She was just living the life. But then she became very ill and developed schizophrenia. At the time, mental illness was not very well known, and so she was admitted to a mental institution where she kind of lived the rest of her life. Um, she was also one of the first people to have a prefrontal lobotomy performed on, but it ended up disastrously changed her life, changed her personality, changed her mental ability, her intellectual ability, completely, in a way, degraded the life that she once lived. Um, and this was really hard for Tennessee Williams. He eventually, at 28, decided to up and leave. He moved to New Orleans, established a new lifestyle, a new way of living. That's when he changed his name to Tennessee Williams. He didn't want to be stuck in that past. He didn't want to be lingering in the pain of his family from the dysfunctionalness of it and just overall trials and tribulations of his sister, even though he did financially support her um, in a way. Some of the saddest lines in this play is at the very end when Tom, who decides to up and leave his family, um, including his beloved sister Laura, who is very different from the rest of the family. Um, he up and leaves and he says he's been traveling a great deal, but he says he's been feeling pursued by something. And he's looking through glass windows of these shops and he sees bits of shattered glass which remind him of Laura, his sister. And he says, then all at once my sister touches my shoulder in a memory like form, not actually physically. He says, I turned around and looked into her eyes. Oh Laura, I tried to leave you behind me, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette, I cross the street, I run into the movies or a bar, I buy a drink, I speak to the nearest stranger, anything that can blow your candles out. For nowadays the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candles, Laura. And so, goodbye. This was his final parting from his family. He had physically departed from his family earlier, but this was his departing his hope of that family reuniting, departing of his hope that his sister can live a normal life, and asking for his sister to stop hoping and dreaming because she won't be able to fit into that normal life. This is his step away, his drawing back of his love from his family. He doesn't want to be hurt anymore. You see, his deep love for his sister kept that memory and has this feeling of, I wish I could help her. I wish I could fix her illness. I wish I can stop her pain, but he can't. He is more faithful than he tends to be. And he can't deal with that pain anymore, so he's going to fully withdraw his presence, his love. He doesn't want to feel that. Oftentimes in life, loving deeply means you're going to have to stand beside someone and watch them go through something very painful, and you can't fix it. You can't help them. You can't make it better ever. And that's a big burden to carry. That's another sense of deep love that's often found in families. See, families are not this perfect unit of a very present mother and a father who love their children and whose love protects them, and they don't have to go through harm. And if they do something that does go through harm, they can easily fix it and remedy it, and they're all right in the end. Sometimes it's not that way. Families are made up of individuals that make mistakes, and they're made up of individuals that have their own path of life and their own trials and tribulations, and you can't take that away from them. You can't take away the pain, and you can't take away that growth that's going to come from that. So you have a choice to make. Are you going to stay? Are you going to live through that pain? Are you going to live through that love and find that balance? Or are you going to leave and just go with the reality of the world and just build yourself a new life, find new love, find new adventures, run away from this hard thing that may not end hopeful at all? What do you think? I think that is the overall emotional question and of reality that each person is going to have to answer at some point in their life. Tennessee Williams is grappling with this with writing this play, and we will eventually have to as well. So keep that in mind when you're going through that and when you're having to grapple with love and pain. If you found this helpful, if you have any thoughts on the Glass Menagerie, please comment down below. And like always, stay cultivated.